Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I do not like, and I don't think is good to argue from a point where you have more people on your side and thinking that just because more people agree with you, you must be right. So that's I call it from a democratic standpoint, which means let's say we're 10 people in a room and something happens and let's say 8 of us say, oh, it happened this way, this is the conclusion, the outcome, and the other two say, no, it's differently, this is our conclusion, this is the outcome. And the 8 of us will point that, hey, we're 8, you're 2, we must be right because it's more who sees it in a certain way, so it's obvious that we are right. I don't like that, and that's very stupid to use, and I tell you why. We have many, many examples, and history provides us with many of them, where there were an overwhelming number of people who saw reality, in this case, in a certain way, and they were wrong, and it was a handful of people who saw reality differently, and they were right. And some of these people here, my fringe minority, as the Communist Prime Minister of Canada said about the truckers in Ottawa, fringe minorities with unacceptable views, because he tells us what's acceptable and not. So that's why he's a communist, among others. That's a tyrannical uh, way of seeing things. One for Trudeau, there's many. I will give you examples, but it's going to take me too long. That's one of them. So that's a mentality that you immediately can, you know, see it in someone. So I think he's very much inclined that way. So nevertheless, let's go back here. So this fringe minority was right, and I would give you, for instance, and would put to death some of them for their correct assessment of the reality. And one of them was, but he was not killed or whatever. I'm just going to use names now: Galileo Galilei, Giordano Bruno. All these were individuals who opposed the majority regarding the reality about the universe. They were right, and the rest of the world was wrong. So that's one example. That's why I don't say, oh, because, hey, you see how many, I mean, we can't be wrong because, you see, it's just one of you over there, and we are here 3,000. We must be right. It's too obvious. Well, sometimes it's not. All right. So that takes me to this article that I read here, and I will not argue from that standpoint, from that angle. But I think it's very interesting to see that other people see things. I would say, I don't know if for the same reason, but they see things like this. This article comes from Ukrainska Pravda, and it's from today, July 10th. And it says that 50% of Ukrainian business people expect active phase of war to be over by winter. So they expect. I don't know why they expect and by winter and not by, let's say, uh, spring. And I hope they have the same um, logic that I think I employed here, and I will explain again how I think that Ukrainian-Russian war will probably end before November, December, I would say, when the cold comes into Europe, settles in Europe. So half of all business people, 49%, expect the acute phase of the war to end in the winter of this year and are accordingly planning to reopen their businesses this winter, according to Gradus research study. However, a third of the respondents, 35%, believe that active military operations would last until the end of 2023. Now, I don't know why the end, how would be the logic to say it's going to be a year and a half. I don't know. Or even go on for years. Okay, I can see that. Earlier, Kirillo Budanov, the head of the Chief Intelligence Directorate of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine, said that the majority of active military operations will end before the end of this year. So I'm wondering how he's got that information. And my logic, the way I see it, my assessment, my study is like this. Europe is kind of depleted, kind of. That's leave myself room to you know maneuver here. Kind of depleted of natural gas and some oil. So that's resources needed for an economy to function and a population to, I would say, survive. If you can't heat your house, you will die of exposure, don't wouldn't you? So that's why I said that. Doesn't have to be this extreme, but we care about one person hit by a car. We care about people who might die of exposure due to lack of heating in the house. So, and since winter is approaching and Russia, and not Russia, but European Union in this case, imposed those sanctions on Russian natural gas, their economy will shrink. There will be people who will be out of the job. They there will be restrictions in using electricity, uh, water, and other things that before the war they were able to enjoy at will and how much they wanted because it was there. It's not going to be like this in the winter. So once this happens, people will be very dissatisfied, to put it mildly, with their governments that they elected, chiefs, whatever you want to call, however you want to call them, who made a decision to sanction Russia. So when things gonna hit the fan, if you know what I mean, the shit is gonna hit the fan, to put it straight, then these governments kind of have to maybe make a decision to change the course, which is sanctions and all that, because their populations are going to go through hardship, and therefore they would probably put pressure on the handlers, sponsors, real handlers of Zelensky and those guys over there, not Ukrainians. I'm talking about the leadership, and that they will have to put pressure. Pressure doesn't mean that's going to be successful, because the big boss will make sure that the course is that way, because it seems like it's something personal between Biden regarding Putin, and he has to do something before he is going to expire, even though I think he expired some time ago, but nevertheless, he's still there. But I mean, he's there in body, but not if you know what I mean. Then we have this aspect, the economic. The second one, what happened in Great Britain with Prime Minister or former Prime Minister Boris Johnson. I think it was just a debacle, not because of his few drinks and a few ladies of the night when he was not supposed to during the pandemic, restrictions. I don't think that would play in this. I think it was an economic debacle by special interest, economic special interest that say, hey, you know what, you kind of hurt us. So now you have to get out. We have to change course. That's my assessment. I can't base it on anything but my understanding of how things work. Can I be wrong? Of course. Everything is probability and probabilities and possibilities. But I give this scenario, this assessment, about 80% that this is the way it is. And then we have the third aspect, or there are going to be four. The third aspect is the Russians are really, really, really going to roll over Ukraine. And the other one would be military, Ukrainian military, as a result of the Russians doing what they do, split, and they will demand a reshuffle of the political system in Ukraine, and they will not follow the sponsors' orders anymore, and everything stops right there. These are the scenarios I see. So it's not that, oh my God, see, there are 49% who think there's going to be done by December or something, because I don't know their process. I don't know how they got that conclusion, and I would like to hear it, but the article did not present anything regarding that. But I'm saying that if those 49 thinking the same way, I wonder why. Is this because it's going to be cold, it's going to be hard to maneuver? I don't think so, because we're not in 1945 or 1944 anymore. But anyway, we're still the same humans under the same circumstances, but the warfare is different with rockets, missiles, tanks, different kind of tanks, by the way, and different means of transportation. Or not mean different, because it's still on four wheels, but I'm just, or more than four wheels, some of them. But you know what I mean. It's a different The army is prepared differently to conduct war under winter conditions. So, thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.